Hello, my friends. So, I help with the raccoons, and this happens. This storm cloud, it bites. Do not worry. I am only looking mopey. I feel woozy. Alright, so today, I'll tell you about this knife here. This is the Cold Steel Storm Cloud, and I've done some inadvertent testing on it, and I'm going to tell you about that. I didn't film it, but I did do it, which is not as exciting as seeing it filmed, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. And I'm going to do a review on it. I did a little mod on this thing and made it about 1,000,000 times better. Maybe like 900,000 times better. You notice how that sounds different? Like, it's, even though it's less, it sounds less believable than 1,000,000 times better. I mean, it's not. Anyways, we'll go back to that. We'll do that later. I shouldn't have had that last energy drink. So, it seems like I've been on a real cold steel kick lately. And it's probably because of the AD10 and the AD15 coming out. And I was real excited about those two. And then, you know, with the giveaway and stuff going on. So, I've been kind of on a kick. So, I decided I would pick one of these up. I know this is from last year. And I just, because of the Night Force and what happened with it, and the way I wasn't really crazy about it, I didn't get one of these. But I decided to grab one of these, and holy heck, I'm super glad I did. So first, let's get into the specs of this thing. Just real quick, it's been out for a while, so it's not going to be a lot of surprising stuff here, but we're going to check it out anyways. 1, 2, 3, 3.5 inches of CPM 20 series steel. Oh, it's such good steel. I love this stuff. And this is from Italy. Can you see that? It's from Italy. Here's the Cold Steel logo there. Storm Cloud there. Now, this is the mod I made. Check that out. Now, the original thumb stud on the, or the thumb plate on this is smaller than this. And I'll bring that out here in a sec, show you, because it is now on the knife that came from sideways on my Spartan there. So, this is what, let's shut this up before I slice myself open again with this thing. So let's see if we can get this on camera here. You see the size difference there? So, what do you think about that? So I made it a little bit easier to get into with the Spartan thumb stud. Now, the Spartan flies open regardless. Well, now it doesn't, obviously, because it's not going to listen to me. It was flying open earlier, I swear to goodness. Alright, so the Spartan doesn't require a lot of flick because of the weight of that blade. That's why I changed that. But this one's a little bit lighter, so you can get a little more thumb on that thing, and it just makes this thing that much more useful. So with a little bit of mod, this knife, and the thumb plate right there gives that a lot more area for you to get in there. And I'm telling you, I did some work with this thing the other night, and unbelievable what it did, and I'm really excited to tell you about it. But let me get into this other stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, about a little over 4.5 inches, maybe like 4.75 inches of the carbon fiber laminated over the G10 there. Now here's the box it came in. It comes in that really nice, excellent cold steel box, kind of like the Formaxes come in. So let's see if, yeah, 3.5, 3.6. Oh, I ruined the 3.6 ounces. Well, we'll look into that anyways. We're still going to weigh it because that's what we do. But it's got the magnetic box, got the really cool box, and I got a really good deal on this. You can get good deals on these a lot of times. I think I paid $120 for this, and I got it just to review it because I was on a cold steel kick. Ended up, I haven't stopped carrying it since I got it in. And it's just a fantastic knife. So, there you go. Now, I'm not crazy about the carbon fiber. It's still that carbon fiber laminate over the G10. Not super crazy about it. I wish they'd use that same carbon fiber they had on the GoldenEye. It's kind of got a little texture to it, a little bit more class. But this works in the hand because of how it fits in your hand. So it's not twisting or anything like that. It doesn't feel you don't really need the grip on this as much as you'd think you would, so it works out really nicely because of how well it fits with the height this way and the depth this way. It's not super skinny and it's not super fat, so it just fits, well, it fits my hand really nicely. So I'm not having any issues with that whatsoever. So what happened was, am I done? No, we're not done reviewing it. I'm gonna tell you about the story here in a second, which is really important for this knife. All right, but let's weigh this thing real quick. Let's check it out. Oh, we're gonna start in Europe here. 105 grams, that's nothing. Oh, that's awesome. This thing's 3.7 ounces. Is that what the box said? I don't remember. I think it said something like that. 3.7. Let's see what the box said. 3.6. It's 3.7. Cold steel is a little bit off there. My high-tech equipment is obviously more in tune with gravity than cold steel. But 3.7 ounces, that's nothing for this knife. Oh, the strength of this knife is amazing. It's got the triad lock on it. And so I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to show you some comparisons as far as size-wise. And then we get into my story. All right. Oh, well, since we got it out, let's check it out. This is the ZT-0550, one of my favorite knives of all time. And see how that compares there. So you can see lengthwise, really nice comparison. It's just about the same this way. Now this way, the 550's got chunkiness all over it. You can't beat the grip on this 550. This is a great knife. I love this knife, but you know what? If I had to destroy something, I would not take this knife over the Stormcloud. And the Stormcloud, just amazingly indestructible. Just crazy. It's so pretty and shiny. You think, oh, it's just for one thing, and that's to look at or maybe clean your fingernails. It is not just for cleaning your fingernails. Let's see what else we got here. All right, let's check out the Benchmade Freak. Another really comparable knife as far as lengthwise. Thickness, a little bit thicker, of course. This is a really good knife too. And once again, if I had to pick something to destroy, I'm going with the Stormcloud, and you'll understand why in a second. Man, this is a great knife. You know what? Here's the knife that the Stormcloud knocked out of my pocket right here. The Super Freak. I was carrying this all the time after I got it. Got this, I haven't stopped carrying it. I'm telling you, you're going to hear my story and you're going to want one. All right, so there you go. Good comparison there. The Super Freak, Stormcloud, these are both excellent knives, but man, that Stormcloud is something else. And this thing's like 200 bucks, so I think if you can find this thing for 120, you gotta pick it up. It's a steal. All right, where was I? I had to stop the cat from screaming and clawing at the windows and clawing at the other cat. Now that I put him upstairs with the raccoon, or where the raccoon used to live, now we know which. Anyways, back to the knife. This thing is awesome. So here's my story about what happened with this thing. Now, a lot of y'all know, if y'all watch the live streams, is that I've been having raccoons in my attic. So I had this real elaborate plan that I was gonna trap them outside because I knew exactly where their hole was, and all I had to do was, it's a long story, but I had to punch through a wall, the sheetrock on one of my walls, and brace the bottom panel of this fake garage door we have to keep them out, and that's where they were getting in. Long story. If you want more information, please give me a call. But what happened was, so I got really excited, and I went in there and I heard the raccoon sneak out, and I just reached in my pocket. I wasn't thinking. I reached in my pocket and I started stabbing into the wall with this thing, into the sheetrock. So I'm stabbing into the sheetrock with this thing, and it's just picking out chunks of sheetrock. So I finally got in there and I'm trying to cut down with it, and it's kind of cutting in. So what I did was, I'm in the weight room, I picked up a 5-pound weight and just started banging the mess out of this thing. Bam, bam, just like that, just batoning with this 5-pound weight on the back of this thing, and it's cut through the sheetrock there. Put a big old hole in there, and then I stabbed the other side, batoned it. Look, you can't even tell where I was batoning with this thing. Look at that. Can you tell? With a 5-pound weight, maybe there's a little bit there. No, that's just smudges. So I'm just smashing the heck out of this thing. Then I go put another hole in the other side of the wall. Same thing. Batoning. Well, then I wasn't done yet. Because I had an idea I was going to baling wire the two panels together on my garage door, kind of jimmy rig it there. Went outside, and this is honest God truth. I took this thing like this, wasn't thinking, I was all hyped up on adrenaline for trying to get the raccoon and then my success over Mother Nature and how I was going to keep him out of my house now. And this, if my son was here, he could tell you this is all true. So I got it like this against that steel of the garage door and just started hammering the mess out of this back part here until it punctured the steel on my garage door. Now I'm doing all this with my cold steel storm cloud here, and just ka-chunk, ka-chunk. And I'm not thinking about the damage I'm going to be doing to this thing. I'm just wanting to get it done because the raccoons are out of the house and I got to lock the door so they don't get back in. So and then I start just to get that hole wider, like that. That's exactly what it sounded like too. Something like that. So I got it all done. And the baling wire thing didn't work because I couldn't put a hole through the bottom one because it was all loose. But that's a long story. That's not part of the story. So now I ganked up the tip on this thing. This Tanto version of the blade had some big old chips in it. And so that was messed up. And the blade didn't super dull on the sheetrock. It was still cutting through 550. I needed some 550, so it was still cutting through the 550, and it was as sharp as it was when it came, but it was still working. And I had a couple chips out of this from the steel from just working that steel on the garage door. But holy freak, you know what? I haven't screwed this at all. I haven't torqued this down or anything, and there is nothing. After banging on it with a 5-pound weight, just smashing the heck out of it, there's hardly, I can't even see any damage to this from hitting it with a 5-pound weight. And look at, I'll get a flashlight and we can look at this together and you can see whether or not there's any damage on the butt. See, you can tell there's some scratches there. It's like scratched up, but it's not chipped out. Can you see that? I can't tell on this new camera. Yeah. See, you can tell where I smashed it with the hammer. You can tell the smudges and the scratches. But there's no chips or damage, and this is not loose whatsoever. Look at that. There's no blade play. Now I had to resharpen this. Now I did resharpen it. I did a pretty good job on it with my KME. It took a while. 20 CV is no joke to sharpen. Look at that. So I went through and redid the knife and resharpened it, and that was fun. If you have a KME, sharpening is a good time. But the thing is a beast. And the other night on the live stream, it took everything I had and some really excellent cajoling and advice from people not to go buy another one of these things. This knife is unbelievable. And I know I sound like an infomercial for Cold Steel Storm Cloud. And wait, there's more. But this thing is awesome. And there isn't even a lanyard hole, and I'm freaking out about this knife. I love this knife so much. I'm more surprised by this knife than I can't think of any other cold steel that I've been surprised by. I love the 8010, and in fact, the thing is, I forgot to tell you, I took the 8010 with me to punch through the wall, and I said, man, you better not. I don't want to mess up my 8010. So I wasn't crazy about this knife. I really liked it, but it wasn't like the 8010 where I didn't want to gank it up. And then man, this thing just blew me away with how it worked and the damage it sustained and dealt out. And it's just a cool looking knife, a knife you can carry just about anywhere because of the weight, because of the size, and then you're going to get into it and it can do a bunch of different things that you wouldn't think a knife that looked like that would. And it did. And it, like I said, I would pick that up if I had to grab a 3.5-inch blade that was under 4 ounces or anywhere in that area. You know, this is kind of like the lawman. You know how that lawman feels good, but this one I think is even maybe more useful than the lawman to me. I don't know. It doesn't want to twist out of my hand. This is a great knife. If y'all are on the fence about getting this, or you sitting, I don't know, the thing is just unkillable. I was gonna say undestructible, but that's not a word. You're failing English. But this thing is awesome. So let me know what you think. Do you like this knife? Have you got one? I know some people have gotten it, and they're not as crazy about it as I am. But I don't know if they've tested it. I don't think anybody in the world has put their Spartan thumb plate on there. This makes a huge difference. It makes it more, I know it sounds crazy, but it makes it more fidgetable, because even that little bit of distance makes it flickable easier than the smaller thumb plate. The bigger thumb plate gives you more purchase. Trust me, when you're trying to get through sheetrock and stuff like that and you're stabbing, getting your thumb up here on a wider thumb plate makes a huge difference. Mr. Cold Steel, Dr. Thompson, Captain Demko, if y'all are listening, I gave you all Marvel names right there. Y'all are like Cold Steel Avengers. But anyways, check out the bigger thumb plate. I think it works. It works for me. It might work for other people. I like it a lot. The smaller thumb plate, I just can't get enough onto it with to flick it open enough. All right, I'm done. I'm amped up. I'm really excited about this knife. I might have to go get another one because nobody's here to advise me not to. Do me a favor, please. Hit the like button down there. Then go over here. Subscribe over here. Come back here. Hit the bell to notify you when I'm going to do a video. And then check the rest of these videos out. And I will talk to y'all later.